These sentence placement questions are very intimidating because there's a lot of stuff to sort through. So our best friend here is going to be the narrow your focus strategy, right? Don't try to keep all the information in your head. Your brain is not that good, especially halfway through an SAT, all right? So what we need to do is break it down into smaller tasks for ourselves. So the first task is let's make sure we understand sentence 5. And specifically, we're looking for anchor words, the kinds of things that are going to force a sentence to be in a certain place. And this one has some good ones, all right? First and foremost, continuing the tradition. That's an anchor phrase, right? It makes it clear that whatever's going on in this paragraph, which I'm pretending I haven't read, whatever's going on, I know that there's some sort of sequence of events, and this has a specific place in that sequence. And so I might want to think about, okay, well, what is the step of this sequence that's happening in this sentence? And it kind of comes up. Peter's daughter, Elizaveta, introduced the best and strongest cats in Russia to the Hermitage. So what happened? She introduced the cats. So those two things are my anchors, right? There's little details here, but I don't want to have to remember Elizaveta. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, okay? I don't care. I don't care about her. I care about the cats. I care about the sequence of events in the passage. So now as I read the rest of this paragraph, I'm not thinking about Elizaveta. I'm thinking about continuing the tradition. There's some sequence here that I need to follow. So let's take a look. The State Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, one of Russia's greatest art museums, has long had a productive partnership with a much-loved animal, the cat. For centuries, cats have guarded this famous museum, ridding it of mice, rats, and other rodents that could damage the art, not to mention scare off visitors. So we're talking about the cats. This is all good, but we haven't really started a process here. We're saying this has gone on for a long time, for centuries. Sentence 3, Peter the Great introduced, similar word, the first cat to the Hermitage in the early 18th century. Later, Catherine the Great declared the cats to be official guardians of the galaxies. Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galleries. Much less interesting than that movie. Later is the phrase I am interested in here because it kind of parallels the continuing the tradition piece that I saw before. Let's skip sentence 5, though, and let's look at 6. And sure enough, we see another similar phrase. Today, the museum holds a yearly festival honoring these faithful workers. So our sentence clearly fits somewhere in this mix here, where the sequencing is. Okay, so that means after sentence 1, nope, no good. It also means after sentence 6 isn't going to make sense because why would I want to go from today, what's happening, all the way back in time to the Elizaveta, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. So those two are definitely out. Now, I think the choice between either keeping it where it is versus moving it up a sentence is kind of a little bit trickier, but we should try to focus on our anchor words, right? Like we've got Peter introducing one cat, then his daughter introducing more cats, and then Catherine declaring the cats to be the guardians of the galaxy, okay? So we need to make sure we're now diving a little bit deeper and thinking about that progression. And so it actually makes sense to flip this around and put it after sentence 3 because we would want the daughter of Peter to probably follow Peter himself. We would want the cats to be introduced before we declare them to be so special. So that makes sense. And you know, I don't think that just looking at continuing the tradition or later is going to be enough here. We need to get into the specifics of what's happening. But those are good starting places to think about things. It's enough to get my brain on the right path. So narrowing your focus is a way for your brain to sort through all the information, focus on one or maybe two things at first, and then to dive deeper once we have a clearer picture of what we're dealing with, right? So we don't want to think of everything at once. Our brains are not that good. Don't trust your brain. Give it the tools to kind of do what it does best, focusing on one or two things at a time.